So welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host Mikey, and today we have a little mini workshop about color play, and it's also called as yarn ball deconstruction, and I also call it just untechnically as doctoring the yarn. So I'm a yarn doctor. So Karen Cakes came out to be, it went crazy, and this happens to be Bernat Pop. You got the color sequence, and so people would literally just start this yarn and just have fun with it, and you keep on crocheting. And it was a dream for those that are starting crochet for the first time, that they could have the different colors but not ever have to deal with the knots unless there was a change in the industrial spool. So one thing that was realized by Yarnspirations is the idea of doctoring the yarn, or color play, or yarn ball deconstruction, where some people really did not like a color inside one of the ball where they could actually remove it completely out. Or let's just, for example, you wanted the blue to be beside the pink and then the gray somewhere else. It's basically, you can take that particular concept and just change the order by just kind of pulling it out of the ball and just working with it individually. One thing that I found with this is that I designed one of the blankets. It was the study of planet Earth, and I was using Bernat Pop, and the center of a blanket is where your eyes tend to go to the most. And what I realized is that when it was changing color, it was changing color at the most awful spot where my eyes kept diving to it. And so what I did is that out of all the Bernat Pop, and some of you may remember, is that I said, get an extra ball and deconstruct it. So if ever a color just feels like it's ending at or starting at the wrong spot, you can use the buffer of the ball in order to make that happen. So an argument would be, why wouldn't I just buy 5 different balls? Have you been to the yarn stores? Sometimes it's really hard to put colors together, and because there's professionals that actually do the selections of the colors, I like to leave it to them because I have a hard time making a decision what I'm going to have for lunch. So this is one of those ideas that it's already done for me. So the other day all my personalities, we did a blanket with Karen anniversary cakes, and basically the stripes were already determined in the project. So what it was is that whenever the stripe was done, they ended the color and then dived into the ball and got the next color out. But that doesn't mean that the first color, if there's stuff left over, is put to waste. It just means that you just kind of ball it up, and when you go to start with that color, you'll start with that mini ball and then dive further in here. So it's just a matter of deconstructing what this is. So my advice to you is to learn how to end a piece of yarn and start a new piece of yarn in the middle of a project. So not aside, but actually in the middle of it, so that you never have any waste, right? We don't want to waste our yarn. A lot of us keep little mini balls like forever because we don't want to waste it, because we have a hard time letting it go, and I totally understand that. And I think it's so important that you learn how to do that. So some people complain about knots in the balls, and I'm not going to say that's not an annoyance, because it does happen. But as a yarn artist, it's really up to us to be able to figure out how to deal with that in a professional manner, in the sense that you should be able to end a yarn ball or a yarn strand and start a new one without it hardly being noticeable. And there's video tutorials for being able to do that. So it's just a matter of, it takes a bit of extra time. So I think that's what annoys people the most. But that's what color play and yarn ball deconstruction or yarn doctoring is all about. It's about having that free choice of creativity. So I think the idea is actually brilliant. There was a scarf on yarnspirations.com actually back a few years ago, and I'm like, why did they get 2 rows just of that one color? Like, that doesn't even, and I looked at the ball and I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense, and realized that the designer had done color play in it, and it looked amazing. But my point being, if there's ever a point, is that sometimes just because you see it like this doesn't mean it has to be like that. And also, you can doctor it so that you could get 2 different kinds of balls like this, and then suddenly have 10 colors to play with. Yes, more tail ends to deal with, but if you were to use 10 balls of yarn, you'd have probably the same issue. And that's just something that you can do. So yarn doctoring, it's not for everybody. Color play and yarn ball deconstructing, but for those that like to be really creative and kind of live on the edge, I think it's a pretty cool idea, and I think we're definitely going to see it more in the future because it is trending, regardless if you like it or not. So have a great morning. It's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd. as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. We'll see you. Time to get back to work. Bye-bye.